morning, world. You guys let me know if you can hear me in the chat okay. We're starting off with another early morning live discussion topic here at You Will Make It TV, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightful topics. Weekly, we thank you for your support. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe soon so that you are notified of all future You Will Make It TV notifications, okay? For those that have been sending the inquiries about the Crown Publishing content creators, digital design services, the link will be posted at the end of this video and in every inspirational quotes video comment section. That's where you'll be able to access the link for those that are because I'm just remembering to throw my promotions in at the beginning of the segments when we have other services or something that we are offering the public, okay, at this time. Now, what is Crown Publishing Content Creations about? We pretty much, like I said, it's self-explanatory, but I don't mind like explaining it. Or inquiries can be forwarded to soulworkImages11 at gmail.com, or there's a link where you can reserve a slot to hear more about how our Crown Publishing Content Creations digital services may be able to help you. Yes, one thing about You Will Make It TV, every time you come over here, it will seem like we have something else going on. But that's the point of life. You know, if you live once, you should be everlasting growing, if you ask me, which does have a little bit to talk about, a little bit to do with the topic that we're going to be talking about today. But I'll get back to that in a minute. So I was just saying, guys, in the comment section is always where you can locate more information about our design services, digital designs, but web design is one of many. We might can help you especially with brand building or logo creation, anything that has to do with digital design. If you need a professional portfolio, digital resume, we want to help you do that. And we're gonna be sharing our success rates of people that were able to find work or get back on their feet after they worked with Crown Publishing Content Creations on, well, I call it global content creators, many different names, but because I do see in the long run how, you know, this can help encourage and build other global content creators as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just want to be a part of something big like that too, in a way, especially with the world turning more digital these days. I can't do anything to really stop it, so I'd rather become a part of one of the many businesses out there that actually do help people to bring those web designs alive. Once again, that link will be shared in the comments of all of our content from now on for those who do have inquiries or want to move forward and learn more about Crown Publishing Content Creations, okay? For those that don't know who Baby Nova is, that's the baby, the young lady on the picture there with her mom on the thumbnail. She's mostly known for going viral on a podcast called Soft White Underbelly. It's like a documentary of people's lives, people who live harder lives. So, you know, You Will Make It TV. Before I was even You Will Make It TV, I've always supported the Soft White Underbelly channel. Shout out to him and the guy, what is his name? I don't think it's Adam. I forgot his name. Adam is on another podcast, but I forgot his name. He shares the stories of those that have maybe lived harder street lives. I mean, since the first day I found out about South White Underbelly, I've had days where I definitely binge watched different documentaries, from gangsters to addicts to just victims of people's circumstances and environments, you name it. You can probably find those stories right there on that channel. If you haven't already, it's a great channel to go subscribe to. I really respect the interviewer on that channel because it takes a lot of heart to go into such type of work. It's a little deeper than ministry. Ministry is more like you just really more focused on trying to help a person change their life and see where I wouldn't say it's more religious, but that is what a part of what people do too when it comes to sharing people's stories or giving people the opportunity to share their stories with nonprofits and ministries. But he more opens up his platform to where he let people know, whether I'm a ministry or not, you're welcome, you're invited to come on our platform and share your story. And most of the stories on there do go viral. So he's even been known to try to help some of these people, like his supporters. They come together, maybe do GoFundMe's, Cash Apps, and stuff to try to help some of these victims to get off the street. And before I talk about Baby Nova, I saw this one interview where he had helped a girl and her baby to like escape a pimp. Real talk. I ain't gonna say the interviewer did, but the viewers supported what his work in that way to where they wanted to help this young lady. And so supposedly they pulled so much money together, not with Nova and her mom's story. This was another young lady he interviewed. I'll never forget. It was crazy how people had pulled all this money together to make sure that it directly went to the mother and the child. So he brought her back for a second interview, like not really trying to judge her, like, hey, what did y'all do with the money type of deal. But the viewers wanted to know, like, how are you and your baby doing? What y'all do with the money? And it turns out, man, she had got an apartment, she had got on her feet, got her a job, and somehow the pimp ended up moving back in with her. He was a pimp slash baby daddy, because that's the reality for some women, though people are quiet about it. And I said I will be more vocal with my voice. Like, why don't I? Not just because I'm a woman, but like, why aren't we more vocal about these type of topics these days? Because either way, they're still trending, they're still going viral, especially when kids are involved. Because it's that cycle in itself, that curse in itself, that people think it's okay to drag kids into this type of lifestyles at such early ages to begin with. So then you have people that'll take the initiative like, oh, okay, well, let me try to go switch the environment. Because switching the environment for every particularly family, every different family is going to look different. If you from Dallas, you could only switch your environment from being from Dallas, whatever community or hood you was in out there. Now you moving to Florida, the people in Florida might say, oh, this the wrong place you moved to. We ain't no better here. Well, to that family, it was about the environment, though, right? See, sometimes you can leave one environment and go straight into another toxic one. That's something else too. We have to look out for as parents in the world, because you can switch the environment, but you can very well become a victim of the same thing or something much worse if you go to a whole worser environment. It was like defeating the purpose of you switching the environment to begin with. But I mean, at least a parent with proof that yes, I constantly try to switch the environment. It just shows today though, how many environments do you gotta change and switch to before you're able to see positive results? Because people tell you that all day long. Oh, it's the environment. It's the environment. You got to change the environment. Okay, how many times do it take you to change the environment though? Before you see those results, if that's so true. Well, the truth is most environments are toxic today. I don't care. I don't care if it's work, home, society. There's toxicity anywhere you can possibly go today, bro. Let's be honest. You know, it could be even church. Oh, I'm gonna leave this one church and go to another church because I feel like the last church was toxic. Okay, okay, so what's gonna happen if you go to the other church and they toxic too? Are you still going to keep blaming toxic environments for who you are, who your inner man is? That's why with Miss Baby Nova and her mother, yeah, I feel like it's still hope. And that they going through everything they going through, especially being residents of California. I don't know if they still are, but that's where she had raised that baby most of her life, her little life that she has lived. Because they be forgetting at that age. You ain't lived forever yet. That's why we feel like we can't just easily give up hope on certain ages of kids. They ain't even lived long enough. Shout out to the chat. Good morning, world. If you ain't lived that long, how do you know everything? We don't have to give up hope on you because you gave up hope on yourself already. It's not your job to be that strong at 12, 13, 10, 11. It take that strong adult though somewhere to, because they got to be strong for themselves and other children when you have children. and probably other people in the community. They don't have to give up hope on you, because some people have conflicting opinions about baby Nova and her mother. They just feel like, oh, well, it got to be the mom fault. The mom, man, the mom said when she first started disappearing or doing disappearing acts where she was going out and stuff, she would call the police to try to report her missing and different stuff. And that's where we have to look at that. Like, if you're in the state of California or you in another state, all the states are different. Some states, the kid got to be missing a whole 24 hours before they'll even do a search if they over a certain age and they're a teenager. They say because it's so common for them to return home. I mean, they have their reasons, whether I agree or not. They say it's so common for them to return home or just run off with a friend or with a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They don't really like putting it down as missing within the first 24 hours of them being missing. And I was just wondering if the state of California is like that too. You know. But she would call them and try to do the proper reporting, and the youth might not understand why we have to do that. But if something were to happen to you out there, which is unfortunate, that's why most times they have curfews or they have some type of communication system they have to keep with their parents, where they're updating their parents on where they might be or what they're doing. Because there are some parents out there, I wouldn't judge those that say, well, I don't try to stop my kid from doing this and that when they're a teenager, because when you start trying to be that overprotective too, you can actually make things worse. Somebody who really have their mind set on doing something, you trying to stop them can sometimes like just push them more to it. As people that have survived the cycle of domestic violence relationships, anybody that try to get in their ear and be like, you need to leave him, you need to leave her, you can actually push that person to want them even more, because you're coming down their neck every second telling them they shouldn't be with the person. I mean, influence only goes so far. Influence is influence, but people still have their own free will. They have their own choices and stuff to make in life. You can only influence a person for so long, and a person can only blame influence, in my opinion, for so long too. You see, we give influence a little too much credit, to the point where homes and people are broken and damaged. Maybe we've done that. Maybe we've given influence way too much credit, when the whole world is just, oh, I'm gonna blame it on influence. Okay, well, we know that's understandable with children though. Influence is, you know what I'm saying? Whether the influence is coming from at home or outside, influence is influence, if you ask me. Of course, from the outside looking in, if you see a mother that was into a lifestyle and then the daughter end up there, since when has that not been considered a curse or a cycle? They said the devil lives in the details. That's the quote of today too. I might have to go record that quote in a minute in my short. But with these quote unquote alleged sex trafficking situations and prostitution situations, I believe that that's a quote that should forever remain. And that's that. Like, something about the devil lives in the detail. That's where he hides. They say usually the devil is hidden right there in plain sight. That's why people can't find them. They don't expect them to be like right there. Like, oh, the whole time this was just the devil? Yeah, he be in the details. He don't want to be like straight up like the cover photo. He wants to be just in the details of the photo. He wants to show through people's makeup, clothing, jewelry, clothing, where it's the details. It's the details that's telling on people today. It was the details that told on P. Diddy. It was the details that told on R. Kelly. Not that I'm picking on them, I'm using them for example. Like, literally, they said the devil live in the details. It's the details that's pretty much catching people up today. Ain't no details or signs to see if ain't nothing going on. You see? They be like, how did this and that? Who said what? People ain't even got to talk no more. Signs and details are still a whole thing. Body language is still a whole thing. You can try to hide an emotion of something that you're going through for years. But the details, the truth about the details about whatever you feeling gonna come out sometimes. You could be like, I'm a happy, joyous person. Ain't nothing, I'm good. Ain't nothing going on. But the details of your life show you still bothered about something. That's because details and signs don't lie. We not crazy for believing in signs and symbols and details. Come on, man. Even numbers gonna tell you a lot. That ain't even talking about a human being yet. Numbers can speak to you, literally. Statistics have always been popular because they tell a story. And they can do whatever they want to in the streets. You're just doing nothing but adding to the statistics, to those numbers that's been telling a story, right? But criminals don't think about that before they do something. They just be like, they don't think about like, oh, I'm finna abuse another child, and then I'm gonna be adding to the percentage of children that's abused in the state of California. Or prostitution. We know that's a whole thing out there. It's just not new. Like one of the top states that they have an issue with that, with like young babies already out there prostituting, stripping, whatever. Because people, what starts these cycles? Somebody said in their mind one day, oh, I need my bills paid. I need food. I need the extra luxury things in life. So I'm gonna go take advantage of a child and a parent that's already burdened out here, and really think that God is okay with it. I guess criminals don't think about it. They don't care about God's heart and what He feel, or that He might even care about them and their situation. I'm not saying God loves criminals. I'm saying that God loves people. He hates sin. That's what I feel like it come down to. He love people and He see them past what the world be trying to show Him somebody is. Like, look, yeah, look how she dressed, God. Yeah. This person can't be saved. People been on blasphemy level. They been mocking God the way they have taken some of these mothers and children and try to like slut them out like that. I don't like it. None of us have to, but it's funny. You have all these people that come out publicly and be like, this is wrong, and we need to protect the children. Okay, well, when you see stories like hers on Soft White Underbelly, that's an opportunity right there. It's just sad because on some of those stories, people do try to help. They send money and all that to try to help the family, and it's like some of them, they come back and interview them, and they can't tell you what they did with the money. They don't have nothing to show for it. It's kind of like messed up. But realistically, you can't expect a person to change because you gifted them with a whole bunch of money. It's just stupid. I think people be hoping that the gift of what they send, at least shows love and support, even if it's not from their own loved ones. It should have been enough support, like, show you that, hey, the people out here do care. Some of us do care. We sent you monies to show y'all. Maybe you can get your daughter, involved in something else. But anyways, y'all gotta go check out her story for yourself. It would be great if I could do a straight up reaction video. Maybe I will again, where I'm more playing the video, the documentary, and more breaking down what we're hearing on there. Now, some people have conflicting opinions at this time because they feel like she shouldn't be interviewed so young on a documentary about the lifestyle she lived. Like, that's a child. I feel like I had never thought about that either, because he interviews, like, his channel is known for that. He interviews people that people have pretty much washed their hands away with. That's why they out there on the streets. How you gonna say who he can and can't interview? Now, I think it looks good that he finally brought the mom on there. It does show the little girl have somebody. She have some support. She have a mother out here. But then again, now the mother is facing backlash because they like, how can you get on a documentary and just openly talk about how you actually are aware of what your daughter do, because your daughter come in the house. That ain't everybody's situation, but on that documentary they make it very clear that she's aware of what her daughter do. That would mean you aware that grown people have been taking advantage of your daughter. But then again, she talks about that, how many times she's called the police and all that too. So where we see the system broken, it's actually there. They can't be covered up with tape and super glue, and because that's pretty much what's going on now. I guess till people find better solutions, but it's a break in the system, and then people wrong if they go try to oh well, I'm finna go handle this with my own hands. Yeah, you might be understood by the people, but that don't mean the law gonna understand you. Oh, so you wouldn't put your hands on somebody or attack somebody or uh shot somebody or did this and that to somebody because they did something to your children? Because, like, what is that what they want? Just parents to stand up and revolt like never before? Because it's so many stories, too many stories. This one father, let me say this other one, that documentary I watched last night, it wasn't really a documentary. It was like a TikTok story. And this was a father, guys. This wasn't no mother. This was a father kind of crying out like we used to kind of see Kanye West do. Like, they might have an opinion when the child is younger and maybe tried to step in, just like with Krishan Rock and her baby too. The fathers, what I'm saying, they seem to not always be as non-existent as what people think. Okay, it's like many levels of being non-existent in somebody's life. Like anyways, with this father, he just had broke up with his baby mama. Y'all know how that is. Everybody is not with the child's mother or father. And the child go and live with the mother, but the mother had a new boyfriend. You know how they go. These people break up and just move on to the next person. I would say that's pretty much legal. You can do that. You can still date when you have children, though it's people treat it like some type of taboo, some type of forbidden taboo. Like, oh, that person shouldn't be dating. That person got kids. Morally, that might be right. It is safer in any environment for kids, I guess, for it to just be the parent and the child, but that wouldn't make them safer per se. Just because it's just them in the house, people could still want to target them or come after them if it's just a mother and her kids in the house. But then you say a mother wrong if she try to date when she got the kids. And this is why people just originally believe, hey, just do it the right way. The mother and parents should try to rock it out as long as they can for the child. Because if it's really for the child, how do you find them on underwhite belly interviews later on in their life? You see what I'm saying? Because they on the streets that bad. To me, it goes back to failed systems and failed broken families too. Everybody talk about how broken the system is, but like I said, I don't feel like dad's art is non-existent as what has been presented. Black fathers especially, I feel like people do that intentionally. Try to separate black fathers from their from just their just do right to their children, straight up. And it just make everybody look the same way after so long. And then you got parents out there that have shared evidence on TikTok lately of having to actually protect their children from their own fathers. Like, it's whole news stories of fathers taking the lives of, I just seen another one like that. A father took the life of 3 of his children recently. That's another news story. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like sometimes you don't have to protect your child from the whole other parent. I mean, it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. But then you crazy if who you having to protect them from is closer than what they appear. Just like a mirror. Like the mirror sign on the rear view mirrors of your car. It might say object closer may seem closer than what it appears. Or further than what it appears. Like, come on, bro. So this father was saying that they broke up. She had a new man. He gets visitation with his son. He noticed his son got a cut on his eye. Because I might come and do a reaction video to that story too. I want to cover these more. Because it is you. This is You Will Make It TV. And a lot of people needed clarification, I guess. Like, Who did she start this channel for? Like, who is the audience supposed to be? Like, who is she really telling? Who really cares about whether they'll make it or not? Well, really, this channel was that. When I do inspirational quotes and uh, divine messages and insightful topics, that's the exact audience that we hope we were attracting. Those that feel like they wasn't gonna make it. Those whose situations who even look like they wasn't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Everything around a situation told them you are not gonna make it. That's who you will make it TV. This channel is for. We hope that they tune in over here. I don't know why, but I have a love for it. Ever since God told me the homeless is his people. I still don't fully understand that yet, because that would mean that God want people homeless. Maybe he just knows like most of my people end up on the streets. And this was coming from God mouth himself to me. I was getting on the bus one day and it was like out of nowhere. It was just like a calmness came in my spirit, like a thought came to me, like, and I'm like, why am I even thinking this? I was just watching people get on the bus. Each and every one of them was living probably a whole different life from the next. Every time they stepped their foot on the bus. I'm just in line waiting to get on there. And then God spoke gently to me. These are my people. And I was like, whoa, what? These people, God? These people getting on the bus right here? He was like, yeah, these my people. And this was years ago. But now I feel like I understand just a little bit better, because you never know what circumstances caused a person to be on the streets or feel like the streets is their home. The streets is their family. The streets is where they feel safest. Because, you know, if the streets is toxic and you feel like the streets is family, yeah, you going through something. Your only family is straight up toxicity in the streets. Yeah, you going through something. But God shows this too. He got people in the streets. He sure do. He got people everywhere. He got people in the military. He got people in the hospital. Just as like the devil be having people stationed and place place certain places to do stuff, God be having people planted in certain places too. That's just how the world has always been. No matter who don't want to look at it that way. If we think about it, that's how the world has always been. So yeah, back to that story. The father gets his son back, y'all. He got a whole cut under his eye. The son is crying and trying to tell him, Daddy, mama boyfriend hit me. Do you know how many people been going through that? Been trying to get people to intervene because they feel like, hey, that household my child is staying in, if my baby mama being abused, don't you know that puts my child in a different position? And people be knowing it. They know if you have kids or not once they start abusing and targeting you. You think they're not aware you got kids? That's the crazy part about being a target. They don't care who your family and kids is. It's like they end up in the midst of some stupid stuff because somebody had a problem with you. And they don't be thinking about like, hey, that's just that person and their kids in their household. That person and their kids might have other people that love them. But once again, since when does a person who target people care about that? They don't care about the emotional trauma for years and years to come that you are placing on somebody's child. And don't let them have children, because now you're doing it to all of them. And that's a whole nother burden you placing on their parents' shoulders now. Them just trying to survive your target practice. Tactics. That's the word I was looking for. Because some people believe that most people that make money this way, I guess, in the pimping and prostitution industry, they actually believe that they have to keep control over their victims. That's the thing about an abuser. Control has always been one of the top 10 tools that an abuser uses to keep their victim in that same state. It's called control. Just flexing it. And how do you enforce control if you're not punishing them some way, showing your strong hand, whatever the pimps call it? How do you enforce control? Well, they use drugs these days. They use like with Miss Nova's story, and they use kids. In California, that's been talked about that they need help out there. I would have thought that that's where, you know how Trump's sending all these military police out places to clean shit up? Any community where that's been known to be going on too, that's where the military police should be. Come on now, the kids need saving and help. They act like they gotta be the world's top prostitutes all of a sudden, and we not supposed to say nothing about it because they're teens and they're old enough to say what they want. Okay, but they're still kids, so they not technically old enough to say what they want or what's right for them. It's like the more I talk about this, I can see how it's meant for me to be talking about it. We know as a teen, you have a whole conscious like mind of your own, but like you're not grown to where you're aware that how your decisions can be affecting your future if you have a future. Because if you go too far off the edge in your present, there is no future. It's about helping Miss Nova to look at that. Like, sweetie, do you know what the future is? Do you know that you have a future? Cause they offered her therapy right there on the one of those interviews. They was like, so what about therapy? Have you ever tried therapy or going to therapy with your mom, or have your mom ever tried? And she said it right there on the camera. This was just her opinion. She said, no, I don't trust therapists. I don't, whatever her reason was. She seemed like she know what she was talking about. She said, no, I don't want to talk to a therapist. Like, maybe she doesn't look at that as somebody saying they found that would be beneficial for you. You know what I'm saying? For you to return to school, get off the streets, get some rehab or therapy help. Because I'm starting to think they need a rehab for sexual addicts at this point. This is how bad. It just seemed like if a child been introduced to that early, they need a whole separate therapy for that. Because what if that is now addictive to them? And it needs to be talked about more. We'll talk about every other addiction in the world, right? Sex is clearly one of them. Clearly, for adults. Now, why would you want to put a kid in a position to where they introduced to it and now they done got one taste just like a drug and then they're addicted to it? I'm so tired of people not talking about that. They'll just look at a young woman, a young man, and call them a hoe, a prostitute. If I say it, it's because hoe is an actual like career that some grown people live. And that, what does that mean? They make money having sex. So then what you gonna say? They addicted to the money or the sex? Shout out to you guys in the chat. Thank you for your support. We're gonna come back and start doing more topics. I just feel it like this is what needs to be talked about. Why do you think when they start grooming them, they use tools? I told you they got to use tools to, like, it seemed like, control the victim. And one of those main tools have always been like sneaky stuff that, you can make a kid feel like, oh, you save her. Whatever your mama don't let you do, that's what these groomers do. You can do her. And they like, what? Well, my mom don't let me go out with curfew. Oh, okay. Well, with us, you don't have a curfew. Well, my mama don't let me dye my hair. Well, over here, you can dye your hair. That's usually how they'll try to come at, like, grooming is like preparing them to be into that lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like it needs to be talked about more. It came to me last night that at this point, the world is addicted to sex. Like, we need a whole new intervention of therapy, psychologists out there that can help people wean themselves, like look at themselves deeper and say, what is it? Ain't nobody should be that addicted. You shouldn't be addicted to a person to where you can't stop having sex with them. I don't care who you are. Anybody that begin to pay attention to that in their life, you're going to start seeing something about yourself and the person that you've been dealing with. Period. You don't need nobody to help you do that. You just ask yourself a question. Do I seem to be addicted to, like, do I seem to where I can't function unless I deal with this person? Because that would mean you are now addicted to people. Let's say you're not even having sex with people. There's many ways you can be addicted to somebody. That's very weird. That's why social media, to me, kind of like exposes it. I bet you got people that wake up every morning just to check somebody's page, whether it's a celebrity or a regular person. But I was saying how frequently you might check on somebody's page or their profile or their channel could prove that you're addicted to that person or you're addicted to their content. Is something about them and you need help if you get to a point in life where you just can't leave somebody alone. It takes more of us putting ourselves to the test. Like, if I had to, literally had to, survive without Jack, Jill, and Joey, could I do it? Because if you can't, something is wrong. Like, so you can only function with Jack, Jill, and Joey in your life. That's what you telling me. And you don't see nothing wrong with that. Like, you have to have your A1 day ones right next to you everywhere you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but I would just be like, be careful. Make sure you're not addicted to people. Because the next step is maybe being addicted to things they're attached to. Like sex, drugs, guns, money. We know money, people be addicted to that too. That's why a lot of strippers will tell you that once they get into the lifestyle, one of the number one advice they give other women who might be thinking about becoming dancers or who might want to get in that lifestyle, they'll tell them that's prostitution and stripping are two of the biggest careers of the world that it's hard to get out of once you get in it. Like, you can think to yourself all day long, hey, I want to get out of this. I want to get out of this. I want to get out of this. But the actual act of trying to do it, it's going to take blood, sweat, and tears pretty much, because you going to have people tracking you down, stalking you, hunting you everywhere, trying to see where they can pull you back into what you're trying to get away from. That's a whole sign. Remember we were just talking about signs and details telling on people? When God says somebody free, or he tell them they ain't got to live a life no more, why don't you listen to that person? Just watch that person's life. Let them go. If victims are so plenteous like you say, and you can just go find another female to replace the next and do that, why not let people go when they trying to get out of their lifestyle then? You be trying to keep one victim in the cycle for 50, 60 years. Then once they get washed up and old, you just gonna go find another kid? That's not okay. Once you can't make money off that last one no more. But I still feel like it's hope for her and her mother. See, a lot of people is in that transition right now in their life where it might just been 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They have been off heroin, or they've been off drugs, they've been off alcohol, or they transition out of some type of hard lifestyle. See, they're not going to immediately just change. It takes time with any addiction, including sex. I just wanted God can use me to advocate when it comes to that. People are ashamed to admit that, hey, I'm addicted to sex, or I might have been addicted to sex at one point in my life. Because it's adults out there got a problem with it. Then they want to holler, oh, that's our personal business. Y'all not giving these kids no type of privacy, the teenagers and the mothers of them either. So we can talk about everybody's real issues then. Drugs. To me, the top three addictions of the world today is drugs, money, and sex. And sex, what's crazy, might be above the drugs and the money. They'll say, oh, I'm doing sex for money, but really you got an addiction to sex if that's you addicted to money and getting money that way only. Now you got a problem. You addicted to two things, the money and the sex. That's gonna be a harder deliverance for you if you ever try to walk away from that. Cause now you got 2, 3 strong addictions, and usually they do put it in the same pool together. Most prostitutes are strippers. They want them to drink, do a little drugs. That way they mind is not always giving them a guilty conscience about what they're doing. If you drunk doing it, if you smoking doing it, If you popping pills while you're doing it, it kind of takes away from your thought process. If it do that to an adult, you know it do that to a child. Have you ever seen a grown man drink and get drunk? A grown woman drink and get drunk? It alters their reality a little bit. They consciousness, they mind frame. That's why the Bible do it do say stay sober and be vigilant. But I just believe that God does understand those of us that have walked this earth, that have transitioned out of certain type of lifestyles too, and He understands that it takes time for true deliverance from addiction. And maybe some people's it do happen overnight. I'm not saying that's impossible. God know the ones out here that's really trying to get away from certain stuff, and those that's just playing with it, like they playing like they trying to get help, but they really don't want the help. They really want to stay in that lifestyle. God of all people can see who's really real when it comes to that. If people were so perfect and they didn't have any youth in their family living a hard street life, we wouldn't have so many high statistics of youth living a street life. Somebody lying. That means at least one child from each household. Now I ain't gonna say household, but let's say family unit, like big family units. At least one child is struggling. All over the globe. Like, why can't it be that all kids are okay everywhere that any kid could be? Why are we calling it out? Because more and more kids need help. And they trying to make it look like, well, the kids are being victimized because they put themselves out there. Since when? No kid is born saying, yeah, put me in the streets to work. That would have to be something somebody already playing from afar, if you ask me. That's why I say non-existent people, they should either get involved or stay non-existent. You don't, because you never know where they behind the scenes playing a part. Just because they wasn't in that child life don't mean they didn't have awareness or knowledge about the child's life being here. Like, they knew one day that child was born, or that child mama had a new child, even if they weren't in the child life. How do we know that today? Most people that have had a baby in the past 20 years have shared that baby a time or two out in public, maybe on social media. Like, people saw their child, is what I'm trying to say. At school, at daycare, people are aware when you have a new child, pretty much. That's not something that modern day people don't just hide that unless they have like some reason they have to, or they feel like they have to protect, because people still advocate for that too. You got people that feel like children shouldn't be on social media at all, even if the families be wanting to share pictures and them having a good time and having fun. Some people say you should still ask your child their opinion. Do you want to be on social media? How many parents are doing that? No, they just take a picture of the child, grandparents, all kind of family members. Well, it was a nice family picture. I thought I would share it on social media. Well, you got to be careful with that these days. Ask the children, do you want to be on social media on this picture with mom, grandma, auntie, and uncle and us? The child may say yeah, the child may say no. But how can a child understand their choice to be on a worldwide platform like that? Like, honestly. So it come back down around to the responsibility and accountability of the adults too, because outside of people, if they didn't put their babies on social media, the only time people would know you have kids back in the day is if they see y'all out in public together. Look how they ding like confirmation, or if they live around a surrounding area. You know, most people, common people, don't just go out every day talking about, hey, everybody, I got kids. Do they? You see? We all just see each other kids. That's how the world is. You see other kids at the schools. You see other kids in daily life every day when you're out and about, because kids be out with them. And because with her story, they was just talking about how she went viral everywhere from being on videos and stuff. Like, And the comments was saying it's funny how some people, even knowing all that information, look at it as she's a victim versus others looking at it as she's just a wild child. It got put out, because the more they can make it look like, oh, I'm grown, I'm just a more mature young lady, I can do it. Like, people actually see that aura on a young lady when it's like that. Because maybe it is true. Some kids are more mature than others. And I'll just say you have to guide them with the maturity. A person who needs to be challenged more, that's not really a bad thing. But it can be, the challenge can be more positive. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to have, in my opinion, the kids are going to have friends and peers and people out in society. You cannot control there being little boys outside when you have a daughter yourself, her age. It's going to be kids the same age as your kids at any point in the world. If you have a new baby today, it's going to be other newborns the same age as your baby, or close to the age of your baby. Every day you go outside, and they not always going to be the gender of your child. You have a boy, you can have twin girls. Somebody got twin boys. That's your kid's age. You could have triplets. Triplet boys. Somebody else got triplet girls somewhere in the world. That's the same age as your kids. That's just how it is. So it's not realistic to think that your daughters or sons, or any of ours, would go outside every day and just like see people just like them. No, teach them at a young age. The world is a very, very diverse place. Many different ages, many different sexes, many different genders. It's not just us ever on the world. Whatever you may be, or however age you might be, it's different people, and we all are challenged every day to coexist with all the different things that are going on out here in the world. And kids, it's hard for them because they learning it as they're trying to get their way through. As teens, it's like you are more mature, but you wouldn't know everything in the world just yet because, that's still an early life to live. You're just seeing, it is a time to more look at the world, because there'll always be times that you were a kid that you remember when you grow up. How many know that? Sometimes we do. We trust life's processes. Because, see, people could argue what's wrong and what shouldn't be going on in the world all day long. But until something is exposed, you don't even know what's going on. That's what's crazy. People want to ex God that part of it out. God is not messy or evil, because things that have always been kept quiet for other generations, seem people are being more vocal about now, just talking about more on a normalized level, openly. Maybe even if it's not even in the workplaces, just kind of out here in the news, or on platforms like TikTok or other platforms, where people stream and maybe share their stories or experiences. Sometimes people's experiences are good too. I'm just saying, on the other side, it exists. Okay, that's great. Something's exposed and you say, oh, that is terrible. But it would have been more terrible if it's never exposed to begin with, no matter what it is. That's why if it's not going on to begin with, there's nothing to expose. You can't say nothing is terrible that you don't even know is going on. You just have an opinion because these people share their stories. Okay, now they share their story, they do the interview, you get in the comments, oh, I think that's wrong, that's horrible. You wouldn't even know about it. But the crazy thing is, somebody was going through it, whether you knew about it or not. It's just already teaching our youth at a young age, like, hey, the world is a very, very different place. Some people are like this, some people are like that. Why? We got to look at their age, their race. Where did they come from? Why do they believe what they believe? It don't make anybody wrong at any given time. In some cultures, they have to get married at 12 and 11. Y'all just go look it up. They called arranged marriages, and they get married. I'm not saying I'm not going to even give my opinion right now. The world already has. A lot of people don't like that, especially in modern day times. They feel like it shouldn't be going on. Arranged marriage is probably okay, but to some people it's still a form of kind of like limitation. But it just depends on what culture you come from. They can look at it as a prosperous thing too. And that is kind of involved when you look at it. It's like, why do certain cult? But yeah, and back especially in history, they were definitely practicing those kind of practices where the young ladies are already married at like 12 or 13. How y'all know Mary, Jesus' mother? You know, we all as women were headed probably towards a certain direction as young ladies too, until whatever transpired. There's some people that have arranged marriages and it didn't even work out. But most of them, when it's arranged, that's pretty much what the arrangement is, ain't it, in some cultures? Unless they have a really good reason to break that arrangement. It's just, it is. It's a part of the world. I'm not saying it needs to be normalized. I'm saying look how long it's actually been practiced in some cultures. Whether we live in our freedom somewhere else, another young lady in her tribe or culture, there is none of that running on the streets and doing all this because they already got you somewhere married to somebody you didn't even choose. It depends. It depends. Or they introduce it in a way like, oh, we just like each other, and but it was like really arranged. They would pay for everything. It's a big wedding, and because eventually the young lady grows up, it's just like, look how early you're trying to already have her started on just being focused on being a wife. And some cultures practice that, but they not out there in the streets, laws and people. You hearing these kind of stories. It's like, sweetheart, we wouldn't think that you need a marriage this young or a partner or a boyfriend. But if you have one, we understand teens having boyfriends and stuff. Y'all think her mom ain't had that talk, tried to have that talk with her daughter? I wish the best for them. I still agree there's hope for them as well too. There's enough hope for everybody if they want it. If they want it. People, that family right there, they could help a lot of women one day. And they would be speaking from different generations, like they related, but the mom is older. She's living in the times today though. Listen to the baby stories. It ain't like they just get on those interviews trying to dry snitch. These are interviews about their personal lives. What is it like to be them? And don't you know, to talk about yourself, you don't even have to bring up another person. Like, what is it like being you at your age? Yes, let the kids speak. I remember I said that, and we all always tested like by our words too. So you have to. I know I'm watching what I say. Yeah, all over the world, the kids can speak up more. It's just called an opinion. Hear their opinions and heart and mind a little bit sometimes about things. Yeah, the youth. You saying they shouldn't speak? Well, look what they doing. Okay, well, look, we have arranged marriages and stuff. Some places the girls don't have a choice. They family already have that. Yep, you're gonna marry that young man. And sometimes they're older, and it takes self-will to just like, no, I don't want to live like that. Who gonna help you when that's everybody think that's what you should do, and that's your culture? But I promise, I mean, no country's perfect, but they have probably less of that too. They have women that probably do try to run away, but if you so young, they probably just get them back. Like, I'm talking about with arranged marriages, so like something that's actually legal in certain places. It's been, I don't know, just maybe normalized for too long. I don't think it's normalized the more people speak up about it, but why would people speak up about it for so long and it still just went on for so long? Deep in people's hearts, it's a sad reality They really wish for the world to like be like this. Like, no, we should be able to date kids. Like, no, bro. And it's modern day times. No. Like we all like different things. No, there's no normal way you can make that okay. Well, look how I look on the outside. I don't even look like I do. So why would you be trying to hide it? Just like they say about being gay or anything else. You cannot sit there and down a person and say they not being real with their life if they showing everything, even the slips they don't want to show. But sexuality, I just say it's a thing, bro. Like to me at this point, we need counseling and stuff for people. Even if they do it in secret, like, hey, I need help for some reason. If people need something like that, right? Is it out there? Yeah, they say therapies exist and stuff. I'm just saying it don't hurt to encourage anybody in the world these days. Like, hey, if you feel like you need some sex addiction counseling or therapy, uh, you can get it. But everybody's healing does happen different. Like, what if some people, they situations teach them? Literally, they let their life literally teach them lessons like that. Like, what did this teach me? What did that teach me? What did that teach me? Like, did I have to go to this? That would be a powerful story. Like, if that young lady go get help like that. I'm not saying she's addicted to it, but if it's a possibility, like, hey, sweetheart, do you feel like this is something you have to do? Cause see, once you ask that question, it's like, why? Like, who? If it's not an addiction, like anything you don't have to do, but you choose to over and over and over. Like, and we all enjoy different things in the world. It's just an early age to be addicted to that. Like, but there is a million addictions. I feel like she should have more options of positive challenges surrounding her, which I believe California used to be or have always been known to be like a place of opportunity. But if it's not for people and they need to change environments, but I know one thing, switching to another environment that was no better than the last or even worse is not helping the situation. It don't mean ain't no hope there. Come on, bro. Some people, you switch their whole environment and they schedule and routine every day and the proper protections there. Ain't no telling what all they could do and turn into and start helping people with. You know. So I just don't feel like hope is a loss for them or any family that might be going through that right now with their young loved ones. But why does it always seem to be at least one in every family that people can say, hey, yes, I had a rebellious teenager, but when they grow up, they totally different people, literally. Like, even as they get older, they just, woo, like, change, growth. Like, come on, bro, that person was young. You cannot judge them all the way down to the 10 at certain ages. You have to put some of that, if not most of the responsibility on adults and surrounding adults, because the surrounding adults don't want it to matter. Like, oh, I'm just a bystander. I don't know them, but you a whole surrounding adult though. They could probably like see what you could do to offer. You said because people have thousands of comments when it's crazy stuff on the internet. Who are you behind the scenes to help stop it and stuff? If you don't understand how addictions work and how people end up with them, you haven't learned enough about life yet. Addictions, grown-ups too. They seriously think it just have to be with drugs or food or some people they're addicted to makeup. They can't go one day without. I know it's people like that out there. They're addicted to all kind of stuff. Money, because addicted is a whole nother level. A hustler don't have to be addicted to it. A hustler is just like, I would say more of a verb. That's why the ER is at the end. Like, that's something you do at whatever pace. A hustler is like mostly known to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? If it's like needed, or they don't always mean they like addicted straight up to money. Like, they can't survive 1 second, 1 minute without trying to do something. to get some money. Because actually, certain addictions drive you to dark places. And they don't want to pretend, they want to pretend money not one of them. Money is one of the top world people have, they don't realize that, like whole addictions to it. So how can you judge another person addiction? Addiction, we need to all come to the conclusion it's just bad for anybody. You can use things in modesty, like you have it sometime. You experience it maybe even a lot, but addicted is a whole nother level. Um, it's just, I feel like if we all more look at it as a society, like, what do we? Oh yeah, they've been talking about these technology devices too that have people addicted. Like they checking their phone every second at work. They see if they got a text message. They notifications going off all day. Emails. When they go on vacation, they try to leave their phone and laptop at home so they can stay away from it. Go enjoy nature or something. When you play music or watch a movie, you're still kind of getting away from society. You're not quite on social media. You're just indulging in something like an app or a movie or some music on the phone. I wouldn't say that means you're addicted to it. I'm talking about the one that just check it every second. Like, oh, I got to check my device. That's a form of addiction. I mean, I might have to take up some psychologies and stuff like that in school myself here too. Just turn the whole ship real quick. I know I was going left. Let me go right here. It just seems a little stormy over there to the left. Like, it looked like it's gonna be a storm tomorrow. Like, let me steer the ship right. Cause maybe even though you go through your own struggles and stuff, that's for a whole reason too though. That would mean you have experience where somebody else might be going through something worse than you was one day, and you get to be that person, whole angel, just talking to them about something that you possibly have been through before that they are currently going through or something like that. That ain't even giving them money or nothing. You could be somebody's sense of hope again, just a angel in that way, or giving them words like, I'm not saying it's gonna work for you, but this how I step forward or got out of this or turn my back on it when it comes down to addiction. I think it's more of like a comforter to some people. Anywhere you get comfortable, it's gonna be hard to leave that place. Like with any addiction, like why stop drinking beer if it makes me feel good? It makes me feel not to bash alcoholics, drug addicts, nobody. That's what I'm trying to explain to the world. It's like many forms of that. And that's one of the main reasons people advocate and like try to in defense of the babies. They don't need to have anything. All the things you can add to a kid life. Why addictions of any sort? Where would they stem from? It's usually a comfort, like I'm gonna rely on this. Why just go through whatever? Why would you want a kid mind like that? You know what I mean? In your right mind, why would you? Here, just this will help you. To a youth or a minor, that's not even showing them the wisest way to start dealing with their problems in life. Like, I'm gonna show you at a young age. Look how this cigarette make you feel. This this drink or this, like, cause a kid shouldn't even, the stuff we be hearing on the news today that kids be caught and found with, like, how are they even have access to it? That's what's crazy. So this other story, it was a TikTok story yesterday, was talking about a dad puts the camera, he come in his daughter's room, she's 15 allegedly, and she has sent, I don't even know if this story is true or if it was just a skit, but it looked very real. She sent money from her dad's account to her boyfriend or some guy she had just met. He came in there and told her, tell him to send that back. Like, good thing he had checked his Or maybe you're gonna get a notification that much money. I could see probably sending the boy $20 or like thousands. How did she? So you have to watch them with your devices and all this stuff matter too. Because some people think it's just the influence of what you actually physically do in front of your kids every day. Sometimes too though, they see your personal life through other things. Like, yeah, having access to your whole device. You got to be careful with that. Locks on your stuff. Change them passwords. We not finna, because that man probably actually really went through that. He had to have a long talk with his child. Like, you finna go stay with your other family. He was so mad. Like, you done sent a little boy money at my account because it was like big money. We don't even know. I didn't even look into the story if it was like a grown man or just a teenager. Like, what? Like a little girl being it's not her fault. When they children, it's not their fault. That's just my opinion to that story. Like, the reaction, it's not her fault. Like, she wouldn't think to do that on her own, would she, bro? Like, I know that's your daughter and she 15, but like, she would just think of her own. Oh yeah, I'm gonna send this boy I'm dating this much money from my dad account. Like, a kid wouldn't just think that on their own. So that is crazy because her reaction to it, like, girl, you could tell you a baby. You didn't even know. Did you not know your dad gonna get the notification that you sent the money? He still got emails and other stuff, because we adults. But they shouldn't have access at any time. Just the stuff they be having access to today. Like, where is it coming from? From the weapons to the drugs to even the little vapes. Because on our girl video, she just vaped a few times right there on camera. Like, I'm not judging it. I'm not, because I see the reality. Like, yeah, most people that live hard lives, it started as young. But I'm making sure people not starting to normalize that being a crutch. Well, that now just more people have to take responsibility then. If it just keep cycling this way, because those questions matter. All this stuff, y'all saying, oh, they be having this, they using it, and they too young for that. That's such an old narrative. Like, no, don't blame it on the youth. Where are they getting it from? Stuff that's only for 18 and up. Even activities. Going places. Another video. Maybe that is God. I just been seeing a lot of content pertaining to these matters. And all kind of different people's lives, and all kids come from somewhere. So like I said, if everybody was just doing the best job with all the kids in their family, you wouldn't even have that many kids in the statistics numbers of from runaways to foster kids to state kids to juveniles. And then sometimes you're doing everything right and your kid still ends up needing chemotherapy because that's like a whole nother sickness or just a unexpected circumstance that it can happen to anybody. Leukemia, those type of illnesses, you know what I mean, that just make y'all life take a whole different turn than what the average person your age and they kid might have been going through. I think they were saying her mom had her at an early age too, but even if that's true, the babies deserve support when you're a baby having a baby. And I say anybody under 20 that had a baby, you was a baby having a baby. You still could have been a baby under 25. It's just if you have a baby young, you have a baby young. But why is that going on? Or what's the history behind that? The history is there are some cultures that practice early arranged marriages for young women. And it's like people will try to just force their way. Yeah, we're going to force this into society. Like, no, bro. People have a right to still speak up on what they see or feel too. It does feel like more of a force agenda, especially when you want the young people to look like, no, I'm just grown. This is just what I want. Everything all right with me. Because that's kind of how she talks on the very comfortable with herself for sure. Very mature. very aware, but you're not out here without guidance, is what some people, just try to extend and, let you know. You're not out here without guidance that early, where you already feeling like, well, ain't nobody in the world can help me. That's a sad feeling for anybody. But a kid shouldn't have to carry that burden. Talking about she on all the websites and, oh, this is so sad. This story's so sad. It's just a lot. That's why I'm touching on the most I could say about it. Like, first of all, if her mom had her at an early age, who was out there supporting her when that transpired? Because we know there are some parents that chose to keep their baby. Like, why penalize them years later? For generations, there are young mothers that gave birth and actually kept and raised those babies and had support too. They got a whole show called 16 and Pregnant, where if they want to, they can do a documentary on what it was like from the time they got pregnant to having a baby as a teen while they trying to finish high school. Some drop out, they go to work, but the main thing is just to kind of shed light on how that changes your whole life if you put that on yourself at an age that you didn't even have to. Because that's how the law works. Nobody has to have a baby till they ready. Not because it was pressed or forced on them. And these predators know this and still be out here just like, okay, at that point, as a predator, what do they call offender? Maybe they should start offering it when that's the charge, like a mandatory. You need a mandatory therapy to addiction to that. That's not normal, bro. For you to like, oh, just zoom in on kids and like, oh yeah, this is what I like. I mean, it could be in your reality, but think about others. You see, I heard they even making robot dolls and just all kind of other options for people that might, at that point, well, admit it. The world is addicted to sex or something. Like, bro, come back to reality. Back when they had arranged marriages in some of these cultures. That young lady, they knew who her husband was going to be before she was the age of 12. A lot of them. And then they already been trained to be a wife. What is that in some cultures? Religion. What's the other one? Like just cleaning, household duties. Maybe taking care of siblings, helping to do that. And it's like already preparing them like to be a whole wife at an early age. People should watch more documentaries about it. It's very real. It's several religions that would practice that back in the day too. Like outside of religion, like, I've seen some documentaries out there. How do we find out this stuff is real? Because sometimes people survive. Period. And it just could start as something like that. And they already forcing a more adult life on you at an early age. Religion shouldn't have to take that. You got to live a more adult life just to understand God. Never. It might mature you in a good way, but it ain't gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm more mature and we got this religion, but we're also forced to do X, Y, and Z. That's where it started getting looked at as cults and stuff out here. It ain't just what we show on the outside or what a youth shows on the outside. Those are just that, signs. That ain't who that person is. Probably. You see what I'm saying? Like they could be signs of we know as grown people how we dress, express ourselves in an artistic way. Everybody chooses to dress different every day. Some people wear a suit every day, depending on what they do in life, or they wear some type of uniform because that's what the work that they work in. Every company has its own uniform of how people dress, and then people dress how they want to by their own choice. by a certain age. They pick their clothes because this is how they express themselves. They go for young people too. And for a long time, I don't know, I guess the youth used to dress modest, but when it's more religious, that's a whole thing that they don't go for. Like they have them their own practices of how the women dress and how they dress the family and wash the clothes and do everything else. I think it just goes back to order. They just be like, oh, it ain't no fathers in the home. I think that's a part of it. That's a part of it with some of these stories. Because, like I said, they might not always be as far as way as people think either. That just means non existent in a child life in the form of like parenting or something. You could be there with all the money in the world too, but you didn't do no parenting, so you see signs of that too. Like, oh, so they just got everything back then. Like, was there, hey, this is no, this is yes, this is, yeah, that parenting matter. Even if it's one parent, that we not finna keep blaming it on, oh, the fathers wasn't there. That one parent can lay the law though, if they want to the predators and the child, because nobody asked for predators to prey on them. I'm sure nobody asked for that. You just be like, well, just accept it, y'all women. And if it get to this level, we got a right to pray. You better be P-R-A-Y, not P-R-E-Y. Because some of them, if they had a baby at an early age, and people, if it hadn't happened in their family, they know somebody it happened. That's how common it is. I didn't say normal, common. You know, everybody know a story or two, even if they don't talk about it, of a young lady that had a baby at an early age. Like what? That's something women go through. There's some that got pregnant, carried the baby, and didn't even get to deliver it. They're called stillborns. They didn't have an abortion, a miscarriage, or nothing. The baby just didn't make it up to the 9 months. Women go through a whole lot with just who they are. And miscarriages, that's another part. You can get, well, stillborn is like where they was a baby. That's the difference. They was actually a baby, pretty much almost done developing and finna be born. It does happen, but a miscarriage is like you was earlier on in the pregnancy, and you lose the baby. You know, you got to give women time to grieve or process things. If you're not a woman that experienced that with your body, you can just listen to us about it. And that's why with a lot of these, like the Roe versus Wade case recently, and the different rights that people speak up for when it comes to sexuality and women's rights and stuff, everybody rights, it do matter. It do matter. It's not just about the LGBT community and stuff like this. Like, you still have whole young women, natural physical women out here. You know what I mean? And what do they go through? So my opinion about it, if they wanted to share their story, I know people already having like reactions and stuff like, is this really real? They just sharing these stories out in the open now? Leave them people alone. As long as the parent give consent and they sitting right there together talking about it, leave them alone. You're not a woman or have daughters. Because it's like, if the streets don't care, you expect people to care enough to just, oh, we'll be quiet about it. The streets don't care. They not being quiet about it. That's why you seeing the signs of it on the young people. It's loud in that way. But you want us to be quiet about it, care about it enough to be quiet. Clearly that's been going on too much. Signs and all that have always mattered. If you're gonna be around somebody's kid, make sure it's positive. Make sure it's cause they have to understand that too. You are an adult, but they shouldn't just ever be in a place of them where they in the midst of the crowd all the time, and they a child, everybody else grown. Like, if it's just them and they parent grown as fuck. Like, but crowds of adults all the time, depending on what environment it is, what's going on? They can be with their parent. The parent always grown, or at least older than the parent. There's just some things that adults can do, kids can't. And if you around your parent grown. I don't know. But some they do. They have stories, even if they never tell them. They start doing young things with they parent, with these fathers and sons too. Introducing their sons to, yeah, son, this how you be a man. I can't speak on it because I'm not a man, but like, yeah, they teach them about dating and girls, I'm sure. Because they sons get their first girlfriends and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I just can't speak on that part because I don't have sons. But I'm sure that's a challenge too for them sometimes as fathers, or it's just more smiled upon, because they got to teach them. And I never understood that anyway. Like, why teach your sons to be players? Why everybody be on it? Like, but then we look at the young ladies that's the victims of it and be like, oh, hell, so sad. I don't like it. It's like, yeah, you're going to be a heartbreaker, son. Don't speak that over your son. Yeah, son, yeah, you're going to be a heartbreaker. And you're going to have the girls crazy. They be speaking it over their sons at an early age, though, sometimes. You got to be careful with that. Because, see, we don't get cut any slack here. With the daughters, a little bit of what seems to be out of order or negligence in that area. Because I would just say unmanaged addictions can look bad in anybody's life. I don't care. I'd rather look at it real. No matter how old you are, what part of the world you in, when you got addiction, signs of it, some people, that's why they call them functioning addicts. Like, it gets so bad, they functioning. You can't even tell no more. But they they still got that same addiction. That could happen with anything. They just functioning with it now. A person can have a whole job and still be maybe 2-3 jobs and have an addiction to a video game or porn or other addictions. That's what's crazy. Like, it's so many. Some people have addictions to what's they call body body injections. And it have been stories coming out of people having botched BBLs. Cause no, we're not gonna sit here and just highlight, oh yeah, the young people being on they in the streets. Like, no. If you shine a closer light on the story though, why are they on the street? Why are they addicted to drugs? Some of the stuff that's on the news stories that the kids be having, they had to get it from somewhere. Some of them, maybe they telling the truth. They be like, oh, we just found them in the hood, on the ground, or we found them in the hood on the ground, in the alleyways and stuff. It's been stories of kids that said they just found weapons in the alleyways. Because in places like New York or somewhere where they might have a lot of alleys, right? I always had listened to that, or you would just kind of think, oh, they tripping. Like, they ain't just found nothing like that outside. For forever, outside is a place kids have always been, or they can go out there and be okay and hang out at the parks and stuff, or out in society. They shouldn't be walking down the street. It's a drug bottle on the ground, a beer bottle, dirty gloves, and old socks on the ground. Because I'm thinking about starting a community cleanup project soon. Maybe, because look, they got this one program I know about. I don't have to say which state it is right now, but they would, it was specifically for the homeless first. It was like reserved for them. It was like to try to help the economy and get people back to working after the pandemic. And I feel like it was like they could pick up trash. That's the kind of projects they would do, but they would get paid, as long as they could prove they were homeless, they working in a homeless program, they could come up there and get a job. I forgot the name of it anyway, but I know what state they had started that in, and that I always thought that program there was good. It was a good economic project program to I don't know if it was a test run or if they still have it active. Because, like I said, I think it was just to help people that were homeless during the pandemic. I know I talk about the pandemic a lot and the negativities that came with it, but there were some like people that probably took advantage of. Well, we can see it more shedded light on where the country, I guess, needed help where you were in the world because there was a global pandemic, but it showed like what I don't know. I guess people go through in the state of emergency too when circumstances are bigger than them. But they would let them pick up trash on the side of the streets and in the parks. Kind of think like community service type work, but they would get paid, and it was like a real paycheck and everything. They can show it as a source of income and move out the shelters faster. But even if I just start like a community project, volunteers, because yeah, that's one thing about the environments too. You have the kids out there, they already seeing it at the age of 5, 6, 7, where they can start understanding the world. And it's beer bottles and stuff all over the street when they go places, and you blaming them for how they look and act and what they shouldn't be doing at a certain age. When you're a parent, you have to judge it, or they'll say you're not trying to parent, or that you can start trying to do that and it be too late. How many of y'all parents out there know that it's real? Now, that might be actually true. Like, they'll be like, if you wasn't there for a while, you could be there with money. Like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't there for 5 years. I was there physically, but I might have not been there like on a where people said it should have just been a straight parenting level. Like, no friendship, nobody else extra in y'all relationship, just y'all one on one. You straight parenting, like all your child life. Because you can have up to 10 different people trying to parent your child. And then try to sit there and judge how that affects who that person becomes. That's what I feel about the young lady's story. Something she might be going through too. Like sometimes it's, even if it's what might seem to be a light mistake or just something that can still be fixed. Because remember, the title is "We Still Feel Like There's Hope." It could seem little, but then it come out through signs like that later. Like, hey, I'm trying to tell you, you shouldn't be doing this and that. You're a kid, and it's like by that time, if you wasn't a parent, making it clear a long time ago, just straight parenting. Hey, some things you don't see, some things you don't do, some places ain't gonna let you go. You gotta be on that at an early age, not just when they become older. Now they might feel like, oh, you can't tell me nothing, or now you want to start trying to tell me stuff. Could happen. Some people have jobs too. That's why I said you could be giving them everything. But were you there? THERE. You were making sure, okay, we got everything we need. The child have everything. Is that parenting? That's a part of it. You're providing. Anybody can be a provider. That is true. For a minor, enroll them in school, just actually provide their essential needs. Provide. That's the thing. You got criminals that can do that. They gonna make sure they can do that. That's a part of how they get who they need with them to help them do that. Look what I can provide for you. Look, if you come live this street life with us, look at all the things you can have. Look at these shiny cars and shoes we got. I can't believe as young people we fall for that sometimes though. Especially when you were already coming from a harder life. Maybe a more financially challenged life. Financial challenges can be temporary though. That is not impossible. A person could be have a broke streak for 3 years and pop back out the water. It's just true. It's a true fact about life. Then people want to act shocked when they see people fall and get up financially all the time, and it's not always illegal ways. Literally, her youngsters shouldn't already feel like that's her only option. When they're more mature, they just need more mature challenges. And no, that does not mean exploiting them or exposing them to things that could have them, come on, bro, addicted at an early age, especially when they girls. Yeah, that matters. Yeah, it matters. They like, well, sex is another thing. No, sex is a whole nother thing. Like probably 70% of the world is addicted to right now. It's so bad. People are torn in the middle at this point. You know what I'm saying? With all the cases and different stories and stuff coming out on the news involving kids. Yeah, people are torn. Like, because it wouldn't be stories if people just ain't doing nothing. And then they want to sit back and watch parents. Maybe that is why they watch them. So they can see who's vulnerable, who's not. Since when was it a crime to be vulnerable? Black and vulnerable of all things? Because black is not a thing to be insecure about or nothing. It's just like, if you already that though, and a female, and alone, yeah, you do got to start trying to watch the lifestyle you live. The day you have a baby, you're not just going to become a perfect Betty in the first 24 hours of becoming a mother. Anybody. A first time mother? Nope. That's why they say by the second or third, you're usually more experienced, or it's just you're more confident in going into it. You know what I'm saying? Once you start having the siblings. But the first one, no, you do not become perfect Betty. Plus, every kid is gonna be different. Their necessities. That's why I said anybody can be a provider. Provider versus parent, though, that's two different things. Providing is a part of parenting, but parenting is a whole category by itself. More people can't admit that. Like, what? Just like I said, they need more therapy offerings, I guess, or people maybe just broadcasting that more so people can see it. If you can put sex and all the ads and stuff out there, why can't you put as much stuff out there that shows people where they can get help with the addictions? So we see what we see. Because first you would have to admit that most of the world is like addicted to that. We know in nature's animals just do that to keep the world reproduced. But yeah, man, more addiction so people can get help looking at what they are. Like, if you think it's okay to have the kids in the streets out here doing way more mature things that's we can see mature, because like I said, some kids do be on another level, but why can't it be like more positive challenges? Why would you want to introduce them to more negative addictions? Anybody expose them to it, because a room full of grown-ups versus a grown-up just that they live with because that's their parent. That's one lifestyle they already deal with every day. Every kid with a guardian, even if it's a foster parent, they already like that's bigger than they control. Already live with that influence. Then you get outside, it's the rest of the influences, all the people with their different opinions, and they might feel like, well, I feel like your mama should let. That's how it always start. It's okay, but kids ask each other stuff like that. Adults too. They might be like, why your mom don't let you do this or that? Why your dad so strict? Why you can't come outside this weekend? Like whole invitations to teach your child to challenge the parents' better judgment about what's best for them. It's their child. And it depends on where you live, what's the environment, what's the situation. Once again, financial burdens can be temporary. They can be. It's what you want in life. Who actually decides to stay in debt forever? I guess people do, but you should be trying to like do things about it. What's funny? Beauty's only skin deep. You can't just look at a person and say they are or aren't doing something to bless them from the foot to the bottom. Like, oh, that person ain't working or working towards nothing. Like, oh, okay. But between those burdens, that now makes you the category or status of vulnerable, which means probably more of an easy target or access. You look like, oh, okay, yeah, like how did her daughter end up in the streets? Or loving to hang out there wearing butt naked stuff. Maybe that part is for attention, but we know the prostitutes on the stroll and stuff, they wear that on purpose. It's just a part of like what they do. But from other outside for influences, they like, well, look, these are signs. Look how the kid dressing. Like, why do they even sell this stuff? For That's another thing in their sizes. Bikinis are, I guess, because for women you have that choice. It's in retail. You can buy different things to wear. Anyways, the kids, they should though. Even the schools, when they don't become as safe of an environment either, that's a whole nother thing. You could be doing that right too. But there's influences at school. Your child meeting one wrong person. That's how crazy it is out here. I ain't gonna say wrong person, because I feel like everything is meant to be, but like one wrong influence or something. Just a new influence that wasn't the most positive. Maybe sometimes they know it. That's why them kind of friends and connects and stuff they have, they might not want to tell their parent about. Like, you already naturally feel guilty. Like, hey, mom probably wouldn't, she don't understand me. I want to hang out with this type of person. You always feel cooler younger when you're hanging out with older people, though. I wouldn't say cooler. It's just like a probably youngin' thing. Like, and there's some adults that they get along better with older people, older than them. So that's just kind of how life is. Getting along with them, entertaining them, that kind of influence, more than it should be. If it's not more like just like people that's supposed to be around kids, like camp instructors, tutors, different stuff like this. I'll probably come back with a part two just with more of my reaction to this, because their story could really help a lot of families. Even if a story don't mean all the details, you know, most stories do. They have a lot of details. And then what's crazy, they said the devil live in the details. That's where he hide, right there in plain sight. Like, just tearing families apart and damaging young people and damaging the mothers. Because we know when the parents really closely look at, like, oh, okay, this how deep my child hurt, then they hurting. But, or if they not, they just denying what's real. Because how could you not be hurting when your child hurting? How could that not be your initial reaction, whether you show it or not? So that's where usually ministries and stuff like that come in, where it's like we're not just looking at your situation, we looking at like where we see you guys. We think you're just broken. And broken things can be fixed with the right amount of precision, you know. The time you put into, or the decision of actually saying, hey, we got to fix this. Recognizing what's normal, what's not, and how it becomes. You're not just strange because something unnormal happens in your life or something toxic. It's just that it breaks people. You know you broken when you start to feel like the toxicity is actually normal. It's a whole sign that if you don't, that's why I still hope, her daughter's still young, and it's just that, like, if you don't look at it, go ahead and look at it. It could potentially get worse, of course. That's one of the sides of living a more sedentary lifestyle. Uh, More on the age, especially with diseases and all this stuff spreading out there right now, too. And it's like, what are you doing to the future generation trying to get the kids out there close to that, too? Now, that's just out of control because the kid wouldn't probably even understand all that yet. They do have the sex ed classes and stuff they kind of bring into physical health class, probably PE and stuff like this nowadays, but actually them understanding the health risk with drugs too, or with weapons, the health risk, the danger to your health. They wouldn't fully grasp a concept like that. It's adults that fully still don't understand that. That's why they have addictions. It's a whole potential to your health. Like, you can't be shocked if you find out you need a new organ because you drank too much, or you're having a certain kind of problem because at the time you were abusing it, you didn't look at how it could affect your health. With any addiction, even playing the game too much can be a damage to your eyes in old age, where you needed thicker bifocals by the time you old because you just worked at a computer screen all your life. Or as people, receptionists, sometimes they end up with depending on what type of work you do, like small wrist injuries or soreness in the wrist sometimes because they type a lot, or in the fingers, hand cramps. Just with a job like that, you got to stretch your hands a lot and your fingers and stuff because they can get stiff the older you get, especially depending on how you're taking care of yourself. Anyways, remembering that, and I just feel like that type of work on a young person, of course, it has to be strenuous. Just like, I don't know who looks at that like that. Like, oh, that's easy work for a kid. A kid shouldn't even have to do that work yet. Maybe older, like 16, 15, but that type of work, like, no, why go that direction? It's many other just great opportunities and options, especially when you're young. Opportunities that they have out here for the young people. Thank you, boo boo.